Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. Today, we're going to catch you up on what's been going on in the world of wrestling. I know you just, literally today, as day of recording, the Bray Wyatt tribute just dropped. And we said on that one, we would come back and start talking about some of the other things that have been going on in the world of wrestling. So we got the wrestling expert with us, Mr. Jacob Mason. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. I just woke up about 15 minutes ago. I have my Pepsi instead of a Busch Light today because it's a very special episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing good, buddy. Doing real good.
And then the captain joins us again, Mr. Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Happy Labor Day to you both.
Yep, happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. So there's been a lot. There was All In, there was All Out, there was Payback. And there's been some other wrestling stories. So obviously for editing purposes for Justin, we're not going to have a 20-hour podcast, but we are going to talk about some stuff. So for everyone, Byron, Jacob, we're just going to go around first. We'll do it multiple times. What was something good that's good in the wrestling world from one of these pay-per-views? Something and then something terrible. We're going to trying to hit all the things and all of that so we can talk about some of these matches. But if they're one of your good things, sure, we'll talk about it. If it's like, talk about it, and we'll just go from there. Wrestling expert, and start with you. What's a good?
I guess I need to clarify this. Are we going to just have the whole elephant in the room part as a separate segment for this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Something good that is in the wrestling world.
From All Out, All In, Payback, all those things.
Judgment Day has gold. Everyone's got gold, and I'm happy to see it for them because they deserve it. That's pretty cool. That'd be I was very happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. And Jacob's referring to the Payback match of Steel City Street Fight, Sammy and KO versus Finn and Damien, and man, that was by far best match of the night. One of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long time. And like you said, they got all the gold. So that was a really, really good one. Byron, what did you think of that match real quickly?
Oh, that match was hard hitting. I haven't seen KO bleed in a while. So that was surprising to see him come out with a coat of blood in the match. But it was hard hitting. I was shocked when Judgment Day won because they advertised Sammy and KO versus Indashir at the India pay-per-view. So I was very shocked that Judgment Day won, but I'm happy. They run Raw now, so we'll see what they do going forward.
Okay. And they even make it spicy. So, Byron, since Jacob picked a good from Payback, you have to pick a good from All In, All Out, and then we'll just keep rotating around.
Ooh. A good from All In or All Out? Oh.
So if you pick a good from All In, I got to pick a good from All Out.
From All Out. Okay.
And then we'll restart the thing.
I like this. I'm going to go a good from All Out. Okay. The match between MJF and Adam Cole at All Out for the AEW World Championship was a really, really good match. The storytelling was great. They just are great, have great chemistry together. So that was probably my highlight of the pay-per-view. That was my match of the night for All In.
Okay. Okay. Was that from All In? You said All Out or All In?
I mean, All Out.
Okay.
Which one was first?
The one was All In. All In was
All In, yes.
So when they won the titles on the pre-show.
No, well, that match at All In between MJF and
the main event.
The main event, yes.
Okay. The main event of All In front of 80,000+ people. Okay. Yes. Got you. Where Roderick Strong came out, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Match. Jacob, I know we kind of joked, but kind of didn't joke for these past couple months because it was a serious topic. But MJF got to main event a pay-per-view.
Motherfucker got the main event, and you know what? That match was, as the kids would call it nowadays, that was fucking cinema. It was fucking good.
All right. That was dope. So I gotta do one from All Out, and I gotta try and pick a good that avoids the elephant in the room. But this was the main event because of the elephant in the room. But shout out to Orange Cassidy getting a main event. Well deserved versus Jon Moxley. It was a really good match. I personally, I wanted Orange Cassidy to win. I think that would have been his biggest win of his AEW career.
Oh yeah,
for the main event against Jon Moxley. But he got a standing ovation at the end. Man, shout out to him. Hopefully, there's bigger, better things coming from. I hope Tony doesn't throw him to the wayside. But shout out to Orange Cassidy, man.
Good workhorse champion. He defended that belt whenever, wherever. He even had actually fire promo on Wednesday before the match with Jon Moxley. Just saying, I've been defending this championship forever. You're really gonna have to basically kill me to take it away from me, which he was bleeding by the end of the match. Happy for him. Like I said, he became one of my favorites in that Will Ospreay match that he had. So I'm happy that he got to main event and hopefully on to bigger and better things.
All right. Want to do another round of good, or you want to go to the ends? I think there's some more goods going.
I have one good from All In. Daniel Bryan came back as a surprise.
All out.
Oh, I'm getting them. Why they have them back to back like this? It's confusing.
Well, that's going to be on my That's going to be my That's actually going to be my bad, maybe. But Daniel Bryan came back at All Out last Sunday.
From injury, because he couldn't make All Out because of the injury, but came back probably earlier than people expected to face Ricky Starks. From what I've heard on Twitter, they had a really, really good match. And he actually, at the scrum after All In, he put praises on Ricky Starks, which I think was awesome.
Okay, all right. So he took a one from All. So then, Jacob, what do you think of the Dragon returning? And then you get to pick next between All In or Payback.
Okay. I love the Dragon returning. I was shocked to see him back so early. And
there might be reasons for that now.
What was it, a month ago? His arm was broken, allegedly. So he's back. But, Byron said it best when they were doing the scrum. And he goes, Ricky Starks carried this match, which was awesome. Sam Bryan gives a rub to Ricky Starks. And we'll talk more later about Ricky Starks getting screwed over, kind of, in a way. But whatever. Let's see. What was another good that I like? I should have wrote down the list here. Let's go. Which one do I want to go with? My problem was, side note here, I had plans on that Sunday, so I missed the live pay-per-view. And then yesterday, I also missed the pay-per-view because I was helping out at a charity softball game. So my good deeds have not went unpunished. I don't know. Martin, you go. Let me think here for a little bit.
So I'll do Payback. Shout out to the opening match of the card, the steel cage match with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus being in her first steel cage match of her life, and both women putting on a show in their last match, because let's just be honest, it's kind of crazy when you hear Becky Lynch is going to feud with Trish Stratus and it doesn't have the juice that it should have had. It just hasn't. It's just been very underwhelming, but then their final match, they really went all out, and no pun intended, but it was amazing. I mean, I'm not surprised in what Becky was able to do there. Obviously, she was going to win because she's going to be the one around more. But the fact that Trish Stratus is 47, still going like this, and still able to go like this, she was around most of the feud. I mean, she got a standing ovation walking out, and then you also have stuff with NXT champ Tiffany Stratton coming back, correcting her mistake because everyone roasted her on Twitter when she listed Becky Lynch as an NXT champ, and she's like, "I'm sorry I listed you. I forgot you never won before." So maybe Becky goes to NXT and does some stuff there, and then they paid homage to Victoria and Lita with their moves. So It was a shot. It was a great women's match. They finally got the type of match we've all wanted, and now is just what are you going to do with Becky from now until WrestleMania season? So that was a really good. All right, Jacob, got one for All In.
That was a really good match.
Also, did you guys catch Trish telling that fan to go?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Shut the fuck up.
Great heel work. Great heel work.
that was good shit right there. All right, so I got to pick something from All Out.
All In. Wembley.
All In. Wembley. All right, fuck it. I'm going to state the other elephant in the room here. How fucking awesome the crowd was during this shit. This crowd was fucking awesome.
That's a very top good, Jacob. That's a very top good.
We have been talking about how good the foreign crowds have been. And damn, they continue to deliver what is star-studded. The third man in the room, just making every match feel way better. Even if it's trash, it's still good because the crowd is so fucking good. And you know what? And we've all said it. We need to get more foreign pay-per-views just because of the crowds. Like, we can't do it constantly all the time. We have to just trickle it in there. But I don't want to get oversaturated. But man, I love these fucking crowds. They're so good right now.
Guinness Book of World Record. Doing that with like the ticket buys legit world record, most people at a wrestling event. I mean, it was crazy. Brian, did you want to say anything else quickly on the crowd that Jacob brought up?
Yeah, the crowd was amazing, especially during Will Ospreay's entrance. They were going nuts for Will Ospreay, but I love foreign crowds. I think the next foreign crowd we'll see is the India crowd at their WWE show, so we'll see how.
I don't think we'll get to see
Raucous and
we get to see that though, because it might be a live event, so we might not get to. I don't think it'll be
just house.
Oh, true.
Yeah, we'll see some clips from the house shows.
Quickly, because you brought up Will Ospreay, best wrestler in the world right now.
Yes.
Okay.
He's making a case for it. That's for damn sure.
I mean,
yes, 100%.
Fair enough. All right, so Byron, you haven't picked a good from Payback.
I haven't picked a good from Payback.
Jacob, you haven't picked a good from All Out. And I haven't picked a good from All In. All right. So let's make these make these ones, and then we'll go into the it's probably going to turn into bad, but I just want to make some middle ground.
I will say a good from Payback. Shinsuke Nakamura's like video entrance before his actual entrance was actual fire. I was like, yeah, I want Shinsuke to win this title now. I love Seth, but I need Shinsuke to win this title now. The match was good. Seth came out on top, and then Shinsuke attacked him after the match. So we'll probably have a Shinsuke versus Seth part 2, which I'm excited for. They both can wrestle their ass off. But my good from Payback was that little intro video that Shinsuke had.
Okay.
I said this months ago when Shinsuke went to Pro Wrestling Noah and had that match with Muta. And I was like, dude, why isn't WWE doing like making him the star that he is? Because Noah went crazy with his entrance and stuff. This reminded me of that. This made it feel like Shinsuke was way bigger than what they've made him over the past few years, and I absolutely fucking loved it. So thank you, Triple H and the WWE crew, for that one.
I also feel like that match you talked about, Jacob, revitalized Shinsuke. Like it got his juices back going, because he's been going crazy. My good from All In, because you guys already brought the crowd and all that stuff in the legacy. It's probably my favorite match besides the main event, the World Tag Team Championship match, FTR, the Young Bucks. I mean, definitely 2 of the 4 best tag teams of our generation, 2 of the 4 top 10 of all time when it's all said and done. And like those 2 really going at it, really putting tag team on display. I loved every second of it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So then now it's up to Jacob. All Out, a good.
All Out a good. You know what? This is kind of a good, almost kind of a man, but I'm just kind of going to blur the lines here a little bit. Kenny Omega doing the job.
He does business.
He is doing fucking business. He's putting over. God damn it, I can't remember his name.
Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah. Putting him over. You know what? Yeah, I didn't think it would happen, but he did, and that was good shit. You know, that's fine. Kenny Omega's over here building stars, doing his thing. I like it. You know, part of the bigger, Don Callis storyline, but I like it. That was good. That was very nice.
Dope. All right, let's go to some ads. Do we have any ads from these pay-per-views? Like,
Yes.
I don't know if this is or if this falls into the bad category. From let me make sure I get this names right because they're back to back. All in the 4-way AEW Women's World.
Oh no, that's not an ad. That's a bad. That's a bad.
All right.
That's a bad. That's a save it for the bad.
That's all right. We'll save it. Now I gotta find a real come back to me.
Okay, I'll go. I got one here. All in. Something, and this is another one that kind of blurs the lines for me of both meh and good. Is I absolutely hated the fact that House of Black lost the trios titles.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, yes, I get it. It was, Billy Gunn returned. Yes, he acclaimed. And yes, they're so over. And, that's awesome and get to that. But God damn it, I'm such a big fucking House of Black fan. I did not want to see fucking Malachi lose in fucking England. Like, I did not want that shit to fucking happen. We were on European soil. Fuck. But at the same time, that's a very blurred the lines type one. Kind of a cop out on my end, but whatever.
I'll stick with All In though. Man, the Stadium Stampede match, it just wasn't doing it for me personally. It was just like, and I was glad that Eddie Kingston's team won, but it was just like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, absolute chaos. That's what
it's just like, when they put the skewers in Moxley's, I'm like, all right, guys, like, come on, like.
I was very shocked by that because I was like, man, I can't believe they're doing that's a very death matchy thing.
Yeah. So then my thing
this was a whole basically a death match almost. And it was like, I'm not a big death match.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if we needed to go that deathy at the biggest wrestling thing in history. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you 100%. You could have toned it down at
just a little bit, because what if Parliament doesn't want y'all back because of that? Even though they did say they're coming back next year, but someone could go in there. He's like, yeah, that was a little much, man.
Yeah,
that was just my Byron, you got an yet?
Yeah, since I have Payback. The Rey Mysterio Austin Theory match was just meh for me.
Who was that smart podcast who said, man, Theory's not long for this planet? When it comes up, the man lost the rematch.
Yeah. Oof. Maybe they'll repackage him somehow. I don't know what you do with him, but
I was gonna say
maybe Triple H can figure it out.
What do you do with this guy?
the only thing I can think of, like, if you really wanted to like heal him up to the moon, put Vince back on a fucking camera.
Oh boy.
That was the only thing.
Yeah.
Nuclear level fucking heat.
That was his only claim, him and Vince. Oof.
If you would do that, if you really wanted to push him to the fucking moon, you get Vince back on that fucking camera and have him promote fucking Austin Theory. I mean, my God, that would be amazing. Well, depending on how you look at it.
Okay, that was a good one.
That's how I would do it if I had no other choice. That'd be the easiest option.
Jacob, what's another for you? Do there's any ads between these pay-per-views?
Yeah. How? I mean, I guess it's is this a bad or is this a meh? I hate how fucking close the goddamn pay-per-views were.
That's a bad.
That's a bad. We'll save that one.
But that's it.
Wait, didn't? Hmm? Oh no, that's not what Byron just said. Let's see. What's another fucking? What's another? Man?
I can throw a meh real quick because we gotta give this person a shout out because she came back. CJ Perry, aka Lana, coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a meh because she was heavily involved in the L7C content, getting put through tables, but it's a meh because it was like everyone almost like, whose music is this? And like she didn't get like a loud pop. And then when she ran in, she kicked her heels off and ran in there. I was like, bro, you were not doing anything against that man. And I was like, so like, what are we doing now? Is this how we're gonna keep Miri on TV? Because since he's been on AEW, he really hasn't been on TV all too much. But now are we gonna redo the storyline from WWE? That are we gonna pretend that you're not married to Mirio? Like, what do we do? Like, what are we gonna do with that?
Felt like that's the way they're going because Miro cut a promo. He said, "I have forsaken everything to pursue greatness. Mm-hmm. My wife, all that." So, like at the end of the match, after I think he won, he won, defeated Powerhouse Hobbs. Like he was staring at Lana, whatever they're gonna call her, and AEW just said, walked out, and then at the top of the ramp said, "You're not real," and then walked out. So I think that is the storyline they're going with.
They also had literally on her thing, I was like, oh god, this is something. On her Titantron, it said hot and flexible. I was like, oh boy. But I had to shout out to CJ Perry, man. It's great to have you back in wrestling. It was just because we know you're gonna get put through some tables eventually. This is the cure. This is the cure for the women's division, baby.
She was a fucking absolute staple on this podcast and provided so much easy content for us to talk about. So in a way, I'm kind of glad to see her back. I was like, oh, here we go. What do we got to talk about? We got roster changes and fucking Lana, man. This is it's all over again.
The simple days, man. The simple days of the pod. It was roster changes and Lana back then when her name was Lana. Any more ends before we just go to the straight poo?
Let's just go to the show.
All right. So,
all right.
Wait, no, Byron had something.
Byron, you got an eh?
I don't know if this is F or this is in the bad category. Am I the only one that's tired of Rhea Ripley being WWE Women's Champion?
Well, I don't know if I'm tired of her. I'm tired of the competition they're putting against her.
Maybe that's a better way the tired of the competition they're putting against her.
When half your title reign is Natalya, that's a problem.
Right.
Like, I know they're trying to make her a dominant champion, but it just doesn't seem dominant. Like, she's done more for the Judgment Day men's matches than they've done for
her spearing KO through the barricade.
Yeah. Literally. And then she placed Raquel in just a match. Like, they have to do something different with her. They got to build her.
Jacob, you were going to say something about the Rhea.
I mean, I want to say, like, storyline wise, like, I get it, but you guys nailed it. Competition wise, it's just so fucking shit. Like, one, we were facing off against my favorite wrestler of all time, also known as Raquel Rodriguez. But like, seriously, like, how many times are you going to face fucking Natalya? Are we throwing Raquel into this? And then, like you said, she speared fucking KO through the barricade. That was a very big, impactful moment for a woman's wrestler. So who the fuck do you have beat her? Because your strongest wrestler, toughest wrestler that's not Rhea would be Raquel. And, that was a very whatever match. So, like, where do you kind of go from here? Like,
man, it's crazy how
build someone, or someone's got to get traded or something. But we've all said it, that Raw women's roster is fucking trash. Man,
it's crazy what we said a long time ago during that draft, and we were like, when you allow SmackDown to get Charlotte, Bianca, Bailey, Io, just right off the rip, Asuka, right off the rip, you're like, okay.
I mean, they have Becky. Becky will probably make a move for the title, but
they're probably saving it for Mania.
Yeah, and it just feels very predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Well, see, there is one. There is one because she has not been seen since SummerSlam. It's Shayna.
That's true.
Yeah. Now that. Yep.
She's the one we need.
Yep. She is the toughest bitch in the fucking division. I would say.
She's
like, we could easily do the fucking Shayna thing. I completely forgot about that. Good job, buddy.
Shayna. All right. So the bad. Byron, you've already alluded to one, and me, and I know Justin, producer, was mad about this. It made no sense. The women's fatal 4-way at All In was absolute garbage. I know we've said it since Saraya came on AEW that Tony wants to give her that damn title. This was the perfect opportunity. When she came out with her family, I'm like, oh, what? And the music, I was like, it might be a wrap. But I think the biggest problem is she pinned Toni Storm. Why did you pin Toni? If the plan was for you to pin Toni Storm, why did you have Toni Storm lose the title 2 weeks ago? And why did you make this a fatal 4-way unless you just had to please break her to put her on the card? Because this could have been Saraya versus Toni Storm if you were just going to pin her. As Jacob's signature line, hot potato. We're hot potato in the main title now?
Yes, we are.
That title has been hot potato for the past, how long have they had that title? Since the beginning of AEW? So. 5 years now? That's been one goddamn hot potato fucking title.
I think Rosa and Britt had pretty long runs, but then Rosa got hurt because she's the one who beat Britt. And then it's just never been the same.
No. You do not have one singular dominant champion. And then we have to ask the question, when the fuck does Jade come back? And when Jade comes back, that girl is going after that title and she should fucking win it. No questions asked.
I'm surprised she was not on the card in any way, shape, or form, like a guest appearance. Like, that was very intriguing to me. Or like Jamie Hayter. I know she's still recovering, but like, we're in Wembley. You didn't like show her like face because Jamie she got hurt and she had to drop that title. But like Toni Storm's had 2 title reigns in the past like year and a half or so. And it's just like, it just made no sense. If Saraya was going to pin Toni, they should have just had the one-on-one. Toni never should have had that one-on-one a couple of weeks ago where she lost the title. You just made old girl the stopgap champion for no reason. Because when the champ walked in, we all knew the champ wasn't going to walk out the champion, and that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad when you can predict it like that. Like, I was just looking it up. Actually, Hikaru Shida has had the longest reign as AEW Women's World Champ for 372 days. And then Britt Baker is the next runner-up at 290 days.
But then why don't they? But the thing is, like, they don't even promote it like that. Right. Like, I could tell you right now, Bayley's the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Bianca Belair is the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. And God knows, I could tell you, Roman Reigns has held that title since Jesus was walking on planet Earth. So, damn. But it's like, I couldn't tell you that because Shida was the long. I had no idea. I thought it was Britt.
Yeah, I did too. I gotta look it up. And yeah, I don't know why they don't promote that title better.
And now Saraya's with the.
Is it because of the competition, or is it?
All right, well,
just lazy writing.
Well, if we go through so we already know the 4 in there. Ruby Soho, okay, and Jade Cargill, Jamie Hayter. We're waiting for them. What other women are? Tay Mello's gone. Well, until she is. Anna Jay, she ain't fighting for no world title.
Chris Statlander, she already has a title.
And she just beat Ruby, was it?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Taya Valkyrie, she's in there.
She's in there.
But
Oh yeah.
Is that really it? Ain't no way.
Nyla Rose.
Like Nyla Rose, yeah.
Nyla Rose. Riho. She was actually the first AEW Women's World Champ.
I don't think Riho is a fucking champion. I really, she is so unbelievable. Like, it's bad. Like, I hate to sound like a cornet, but like, god damn, she is not fucking believable as a fucking champion. She's as big as this fucking Pepsi can that's sitting in front of me. She's fucking believable. And I'm sorry, she's going to beat Nyla Rose. Or not, yeah. She's going to beat fucking Nyla Rose. I don't have to state the fucking obvious here, but goddamn, come on.
I'm also trying to look through really. Was Chris and Ruby's match was the only women's match last night on all? Yeah, it's looking like it.
Yes.
Okay. It goes to my thing, like, which I actually got kind of annoyed with because I absolutely love this woman. Where they kept showing Mercedes every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, have you signed her or not?
Huh?
Well, we haven't seen the tweet that says Mercedes Moné is all elite.
Or was it one of those things where it's just like you were just promoting that, like, she came all the way out there to watch?
Yeah, I talked about it in the post media scrum.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, we fucking paid for her to fly out here and, watch some wrestling. Okay.
Well, they need, I mean, she would be Omega, but then it's like, if you go to AEW, it's like, what are you really going to do if you're not automatically at the top? And the other person who they really need, that is never happening ever again after this past weekend. So we can't even mention her because that ain't happening ever. There's no chance. And then, so.
Oh, man.
Was it funny that I was like, oh, damn, look at this tweet. Then I was like, oh, damn. And I guess we're never going to see her again or see her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I sit down, I was like, that was one of the first things I thought about. I was just like, yeah, it's over for that. But that one was bad. It just wasn't for the only women's match, the biggest wrestling event in history. That wasn't it.
That was, yeah.
And now Saraya, what are they going to do? They're going to play hot potato within their own group of who wins the title?
Well, are they even still a group?
Yeah, we don't know. I mean,
part of me, understands like, oh, hey, we're going to give it to Saraya. Paige,
I get that
from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like we're going in Wembley. That's a big fucking deal, and I understand it. But like you guys said it fucking best. Why the fuck did Sheeta win this 2 weeks ago? Tony Storm lost it 2 fucking weeks ago. This doesn't make any goddamn sense. What the fuck? Was
it really a match just to make sure Britt Baker was on the card? Because if they made that a one-on-one match, Britt Baker isn't on that card.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Feels that way.
Because that could.
And then on top, you literally have like three heels on paper. 3 heels versus 1 face.
Yep.
Even though like Tony, obviously Tony Storm, obviously Saraya in England, that's a big fucking deal. But even then, like, what the fuck are we? It's so fucking dumb. The fucking AEW's women's division is so terrible.
Yeah, so I mean, again, Jacob, 100% agree with you. Like, it's also a great spectacle for Saraya winning. Family comes in the ring, the fireworks. I mean, that's who I would have put money on because I would have put money on her or if Jamie Hayter, anyone from that side of the world, I would have put money on because I want the spectacle. But that was bad. Another bad that I think Jacob brought this one up. Wrestlers have like 300. They work like 300 out of the 350 days, probably even more. Especially in the big pay-per-views, it's put up or shut up. Jacob already brought it up. There shouldn't have been back-to-back pay-per-views. No way. And the fact that a lot of these wrestlers who wrestled last week at Wembley wrestled again on Sunday? Nah, man, that's not how you preserve people. That ain't it. That's not it.
And this is another pet peeve because we've seen it already happen with all of us here on this podcast already. if you were going to have back-to-backs, if you have to do it, goddamn, don't call one all in and the other one all out. Do the other one like all in and full gear, because goddamn, dude, I'm not keeping them fucking straight. You said it best, Martin. You're like the fucking Wembley show. Yes, okay, I know the Wembley show, and then we have the Chicago show. That's easier to remember than the fucking actual names of the pay-per-view, which is fucked up, and that's not how it should be.
No, I agree. I mean, Byron, what did you think about them having two big, like these are big pay-per-views back to back?
Yeah, like when it was first announced, we all were on the podcast. We're like, why are they doing these two big pay-per-views a week apart? It doesn't make sense. Like, you have your stars, which you want to preserve because you're, trying to build a mega wrestling corporation. You don't have your stars do intense matches back to back. Like Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy were in the Stadium Stampede last week, and then they both had a intense match last night. That's not how you preserve your competition, especially with Orange Cassidy being a workhorse and defending that title whenever and wherever. I know that man's tired. He deserves a break, but is he going to get a break? We don't know.
Well, if we've learned from last year's past, when people want breaks, bad things happen, and bad things have happened, so everyone's back at work.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I was about to say something too. It's like WWE having like WrestleMania and SummerSlam back-to-back weekends. Like you couldn't even let All In simmer. Like you couldn't let it be like, man, we just had. I know headlines. There were certain headlines that took over, but we couldn't even let it. We couldn't even let it simmer. It was like, damn, I can't believe All In was like a week ago. This is crazy. I'm looking at my thing as like, and also from a loyal customer perspective, where, hey man, not everyone got Tony Khan money. Let's just keep it a buck. I mean, you're asking your customer to spend $100 in a 2-week span on you.
Not even 2 weeks span, on 1
week span. Yeah, you buy Wembley on Saturday for $50 on pay-per-view or Bleacher Report. Then they're asking you for another $50 the following week.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked they didn't do like a package deal.
Yeah, like, that's what they should have done.
Get for like $75, save $25, something along those lines. If you're going to do them that fucking quickly, you're not fucking Peacock. You're not $9.99 in it for a fucking month. No, come the fuck on.
They actually might do well with like a network type package like Peacock has with WWE. Like, you pay this much a month, you can watch past wrestling shows, you can watch pay-per-views. They might want to look into that.
Because back to back for a normal person, man, you're asking me for $100.
Right.
And then I have to interject here. And I've brought this up before. If you're going to make me spend premium money on a premium event, yes, Wembley was worth the $50. Was the Chicago show worth the $50? On paper, before you even saw anything, you just looked at the card and said, is this worth $50? I don't think it was worth $50.
No, because they didn't really start promoting until after All In.
Which is the problem of having a back-to-back.
Right. If you had a week to decide, am I going to invest $50 in this card?
Yeah, because like I said, I had to help out at a charity softball thing. And I remember my wife asked me, she goes, isn't that AEW pay-per-view like happening? I'm like, yeah, it's fine though. I don't care. It's not a big deal. Like I don't see me dropping the money on it. And I'm the fucking wrestling fucking expert over here. I should be the Mark who's dropping the fucking money like it's no fucking big deal. Fuck that shit. I ain't fucking doing that.
I agree.
You did not sell me on your fucking pay-per-view because you did it a fucking week between the world's biggest, longest selling fucking pay-per-view of all fucking time. Come on, Tony, you fucking idiot. What are we doing?
I agree. I mean, those are the two biggest. Those are definitely some bads. Any other bads out here from these pay-per-views?
Can't think of any.
Oh, I mean, if you didn't make the All-In card, you might have to start getting ready to pack your bags.
Oh, yeah, true. Then there's a lot of people packing their bags.
Well, you got it, bro. I'm just sitting there like, they had a pre-show too, and it's like you didn't even get mentioned on the All In show. Like it just All In showed me where you stood with AEW in like the company.
I feel like if you didn't make the All In show, you definitely should have made the All Out show.
But how many made the All Out show that, like, besides like the meat match of Hobbs and Miriam? I mean, Ruby wrestled, but she was at All In. She interfered in like the Fatal 4-Ways. Like, so who else wrestled on All Out that wasn't at All In?
Brian,
but he was hurt,
but injured, whatever. Well, we're going to talk about that in a few seconds. But that's the only person. I mean,
Ricky Starks, Ricky Starks, but that was supposed to be the man. Oh my god! So
the Dark Order, they were on All Out and not All In.
Wait, Dark Order,
Shane Taylor.
Wait, I thought Dark Order wasn't All In.
No, they were at All Out, not All In.
MJF and Adam Cole.
Oh,
at all. Wait,
All Out.
Or All Out, fucking Chicago show. Chicago
Dark.
Chicago and Wembley.
Are you thinking of House of Black?
Yes, I'm thinking of House of Black. My apologies, because I'm like, I swore they did a Bray Wyatt tribute at All In. That's House of Black.
Yes.
Apologies. Maybe we shouldn't have something called House of Black and Dark Order at the same thing.
Well, shout out to House of Black for that Bray Wyatt tribute. That was really good.
That's true. I should. I'm sorry, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I apologize. But they weren't gonna be All In anyway. Trash ass. But
which sucks because that was Brody Lee's legacy, man.
Yeah, well, they gotta get good. Maybe you can. Where's Jay White at? The greatest signing of this summer. Well, now it's not even summer anymore.
I mean, he just won yesterday with
Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah, Bullet. Yeah, that's true. Young Buck, which that makes no sense. So let me get this straight. So those two, Young Bucks and FTR, after the stuff they were saying to each other leading up to the pay-per-view and All In, put on a hell of a match. You literally said this is for the best tag team in the universe, and then the two best tag teams in the universe team up and lose.
I didn't think about that until you said it like that.
The Jay White thing just gets me pissed, man, because that was literally like, I just don't like how he's been presented. That was the biggest signing of this freaking year.
I mean, the fucking dude, I gotta admit, the fucking guns. I love the fucking guns.
Oh, they're funny. Yeah. They're funny.
Dude, they're fucking good shit. I am a fan of the guns.
Maybe I'm more mad that Jay White was on his way to WWE until Vince and then came back and then he said, "Oh hell no." Maybe that's why I'm mad.
That's why I'm mad, because we almost had. I'm not saying we, because I'm siding with WWE, but WWE almost had him, and Vince had to rear his ugly head
and that mustache,
fake ass mustache.
Looking like Mario's cousin. But no, those were the two biggest. Those were two bads, man. And just Payback. I don't think if there was any real. I mean, we already talked about the Rhea thing, so that was a bad. Austin Theories, like, I mean, I think those are any other bads. I think we hit the biggest bads.
I did, but I just thought about a good that we didn't cover. Okay. Shout out to John Cena for putting over LA Knight.
And well, anytime we want to talk about my GOAT, I'm No, I just had a real quick thing. I mean, dude's gonna be here literally on SmackDown for 8 straight weeks and doing the Indian tour at 40-something years old and as a part-timer. And he's still doing that and he's giving back. He's not won a singles match since 2018 because he's been putting everyone over. And anyone who said, and again, man, hey, all those people back then in 2012 where they're like, Dwayne's better than you. I'm like, okay, we're going to see who helps more in the long run. Okay. Like, there's no reason John Cena has no business coming. He said he's coming for SmackDown for 2 straight months. And he's not in the main event. It's not like when they did the Summer of Cena with him building up to Roman, but it's like, And he's putting people over. Yeah, the thing with
now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Is he back because of that massive writers actors strike that's happening in Hollywood?
Probably.
Well, shit, Dwayne ain't.
That's also
Batista.
Don't worry, Dwayne and fucking Oprah, the billionaires and multi-millionaires club, are asking for money for me for fucking Maui. Fuck you guys.
But no, I feel like with that though, you can't just. Maybe the 8 weeks, but definitely not the Indian tour, because that has to be planned. That's planned. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I want to come to India, and like, because then you got to make sure you have nothing. Because he just had a movie come out on Hulu, and he had a cameo in the Barbie movie and like all that stuff. So, but again, either or, shout out to him, man, because there's a lot of part timers. Hell, the main champion ain't coming back till maybe next year. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, so I have to say this about Cena. I love his new fucking apparel.
The new shirt?
His new merch, dude. That's like an homage to like the golf racing livery, which I was like, dude, that's cool as fuck. But I'm still not going to buy it, but it's still pretty fucking cool.
Again, man, I'm the biggest Cena mark out there, but I can't buy it. I barely buy any shirts with him when it has his face on it. That's just weird for me.
Right, exactly.
I can do the cartoon, like the one where he pretended to be like the Super Mario one that had his title reigns on the back. That one's
that was
I
good. That was
own that
was
shirt.
fire.
So I need to get that one. But I got the 20 years shirt. That's the last John Cena shirt I got. I was like, I'll get the 20-year one. But then
the problem with his fucking Mario shirt was you need to get that NFT deal to buy.
Bullshit.
Oh yeah, bullshit. About that.
I was hot too. I had the credit card ready. Then I saw that. I was like, "Yeah, time to put you away, buddy."
I'm not $100 for a fucking.
No, that's a good one. And I mean, hosted Payback. He's gonna be at the Indian tour. He's also doing the next pay-per-view. So in Indy, like he's doing it, man. But that's a good. All right, any more?
He's going to feud with going forward.
I mean, he had the little confrontation with LA Knight, but then there's people talking about the main event of that pay-per-view next time could be Cody versus Cena. Like, there's just a lot of stuff.
I've heard that rumor.
But it makes no sense. Why has Austin Theory not interacted with Cena?
Right.
Well, it makes no sense. Why hasn't he come out and be like, hey, remember I beat you? Isn't that what heels are supposed to do?
Yeah, but
that's what they're supposed to do.
Even Cena caught it. He said, if I win, you lose. If you win, you lose. Fun fact, John Cena was fucking right. Motherfucker is lost.
Like, it makes no sense. And also with the Cena thing, each city he'll be in for SmackDown, he'll be doing his Make-A-Wish stuff too. But no, Austin Theory should be busting that thing, interrupting John every single time. Every time.
Yeah.
But John also talked about, like, he knows the end is coming because, shoot, remember this guy just randomly showed up in Money in the Bank in London.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think he's doing just like, hey, man, I don't got that much longer. I'm staring down 47. Been doing it for 20 years. It's like, I don't want him getting screwed like Kurt Angle did, though. Because Kurt Angle's last match should have been John Cena. Like, I don't know who the hell Cena's. I just don't want him getting screwed.
Yeah, it has to be like an up-and-comer or someone from his past.
Oh, I've already seen the rumors about someone from his past because of where Survivor Series is at.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are smoking some crack.
Who's the rumor? I haven't seen this one. Who's the rumor?
Oh, well, since any more bad before we go to who this rumor is.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh,
take it away.
All right, Jacob. So Byron said someone from his past. There's a rumor going around that since Survivor Series is in Chicago and John Cena might be around, a person who was probably John Cena's greatest opponent wrestling wise, Mr. CM Punk. Because Jacob, I don't know if you've heard, he's a he's a free. Have you heard about that yet?
Fuck it. I feel really dumb right now. I feel so.
No, it's okay. But it was a perfect. It was a perfect segue. And before we get into this, we are not going to spend the next 20 hours talking about Mr. Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk. What we're actually going to do talk about what happened this weekend, initial thoughts, and we can finally do it now, Jacob. And I know we talked about this and Byron too. Next podcast, it's going to be was the 7 years worth it. Then that's where we're going to fully unleash on Punk.
All right.
I don't want to make this. I do not want to make this a 20-hour podcast because
we're going to break the fucking WrestleMania listen to record.
Yep.
With this motherfucker, hell yeah.
So that's why, because when Jacob he brought that up after the stuff, he's like, I was like, even though the WrestleMania podcast is Jacob's most listened one on YouTube, when you listen, I was like, damn, this was a bitch fest. It was needed, but we'd only have one editor, so it's not like if we would have talked about every match and bitch, it would have been like a 6-hour podcast. So that's why on Sunday I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about him a little now. We're going to find out Jacob's schedule in the next couple of weeks. And now we're about to be in a little dead period with like pay-per-views. So in these next couple of weeks, then we do the CM Punk pod. He gets his own. But at All In, which it was actually one of my better matches that I liked, he opened the show with Samoa Joe. Good match. Apparently, before the show, was it Jungle Boy?
Perry? Yeah, Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
They got into an altercation. Of course, you hear CM Punk backstage altercation. You're like, you can't make this shit up. Whatever. They get into it. We're like, all right, let's first find out if it's real or not, because you know. And then you find out it's real. Then you see rumors that CM Punk was yelling, "Fire me, Tony," and he lunged at Tony. You hear those rumors. You don't see him because this happens a week before his pay-per-view. Because let's be honest, All Out Chicago week was all supposed to be CM Punk. He was supposed to be the main event of that pay-per-view. We said it for months.
Yeah.
So leading to this pay-per-view, we're like, so is Punk going to be on the card? Is he not? To go back to Jacob's thing, a lot of people are the only people really going to is like, all right, I want to see CM Punk in the main event. I haven't heard anything about CM Punk, so why am I going to get this pay-per-view? All right. You come Saturday, literally the 3rd of September, literally yesterday. 5-something, I get the scene alert on my phone. Tony Khan permanently terminates CM Punk's contract. I didn't believe it. It was almost like the Bray stuff, rest in peace. I had to check. That was from the real Tony Khan, real AEW. I saw the fall. I was like, all right, it's really him. I send it out to you guys, send it out to everyone. Everyone's going crazy. No one believes it. And then, of course, they have Collision that day. Collision also, remember, this show that Tony Khan made for CM Punk. And he comes out, talks. People don't want to hear that shit. Then he makes a video saying it was very hard to do. But, you know, people's lives I felt like people's lives were in danger, so I had to do it. Okay. All right. All In, biggest wrestling show ever. Had headlines for 2 seconds before CM Punk took it over with the Perry fight in that. And then he's all everyone talked about. Your next pay-per-view from now until God knows when. CM Punk's everything everyone's talking about. And before he got fired, #1 in merch. So, and you know what, guys? Today is September 4th. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the CM Punk media scrum. Literally to the day. How do we plan that recording? I don't know. God was looking out for us. We're literally recording a year later on that day, and now he's fired. Jacob, what are your thoughts of Punk hijacking the headlines with AEW the past 2 weeks and their biggest 2 weeks ever?
There's so much I want to say, but the fact we're having a whole CM Punk podcast, I feel like I'm just have to Reader Digest summarize a lot of my thoughts right now. But I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Fucking Triple H was right. Fucking me.
What are you referring to with Triple H is right for people who don't know, Jacob?
Years ago, when Punk and Triple H were having a moment in the ring and they were like shooting on each other essentially. And Triple H said, it's not that you're the voice of the voiceless. It's that if you're not that top guy, then it's never fucking right, essentially. Is paraphrasing somewhere along those lines. So, goddamn, he was fucking right. I mean, allegedly, I did see like there was no one there to pick him up at the airport. Which, man, that's annoying, but like, you're a fucking multi-millionaire. You can afford an Uber. Like, dude, come on now. Like it, and I did see that I did see like they put out the travel shit like for Wembley and stuff. And it was like, hey, like this is the time buses are going to be here. This is the time like this is going to be here. Like if you miss it, like get a taxi, get an Uber, give me the receipt and you'll get reimbursed. Not a big deal. Annoying, sure, but not a big deal at the end of the day.
I agree.
But we are dealing with the world's biggest prima fucking Madonna in the wrestling business, so major deal.
No, agree. Byron, what are initial thoughts of the fight with Perry and that stuff? Now getting fired, literally before the whole reason AEW was in Chicago this whole week.
CM Punk, Chicago made Punk. It's not even at your own Chicago show. It's absolutely hilarious to me. When you sent out the tweet that Tony Khan said he fired CM Punk, I was shocked. I was like, I didn't think this was going to happen. Maybe I thought he was going to get suspended indefinitely again, like he did, at last year's All Out media scrum, where he said he's old, tired, and works with fucking children. If you're the adult in the situation like you claim to be, you literally did not have to say shit to Jack Perry. I've said it in this chat, our group chat that we have. I said it in our other group chat. Just walk away. Just because Jack Perry says something on national television during the All In pre-show, you don't have to respond to that. Go out, do your match, go home. But CM Punk, being, like Jacob said, the biggest prima donna in the wrestling business, had to say shit. And that caused a fight, caused Tony Khan to fear for his life, and for him to get fired. So my mom always taught me your actions have consequences, and this was the consequence of your actions for the last year, Punk.
There was also a rumor, too, that before one of these pay-per-views, again, they're back-to-back, so I had no idea which one, that they were going to have a sit-down with the Elite and Punk to clear the hatchet, and then the Elite blew it off last minute. And then I forgot which one of them did a little victory lap yesterday that people are saying. Matt saying that he did a victory lap and all because Punk's gone or whatever, but I don't know if that rumor is true. It was just a rumor out there, but
I mean, did you guys see the Being the Elite latest episode?
Mm-mm.
So I'll send you the clip of it. But you have Kenny Omega, Matt, Nick Jackson. Kenny Omega is like goes to take a drink of Pepsi and like spits it out, and then the Punk boys are eating like Chicago deep dish pizza with Coca-Cola all around, and they're just smiling. Kind of funny. like I'm just like, that's a nice, like, it's such a subtle jab. It's pretty fucking funny though. But like everyone's going in on him. Grayson Waller went in on him. Grayson fucking Waller went in on Punk with his like fucking putting a Pepsi up to his like sore face.
I saw that.
Bro, like everyone's going in on Punk. He is just the thing to make fun of right now.
I even saw something on SmackDown how the Jimmy Uso and AJ Styles bit was something trying to shoot something at Punk too. How AJ told Jimmy, "Fine, get out of here. You treat everyone like basically like shit. Nobody wants you here anyway." And I was like, "Oh boy." We were saying that was a jab. Guys, I can't believe we live in an era that last year, we talked about the scrum herd around the world, if we were shooting or not. And then they have last year, we were trying to wonder if that fight was real. And it was real. And now we're like, he's fired. Like, and what we alluded to earlier, with him being fired, there's absolutely zero chance AJ goes to AEW. That's dead.
They really could have used her too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we still have Tessa,
who's wrestling in local. Bro, she's fallen. she has fallen.
She's fallen from grace, but at the same time, like, hey man, we need to revitalize. It'd still make a big splash.
Yes, it would.
If she showed up on
it would.
I mean, not to everyone, because Tessa Blanchard isn't a household name, but for big wrestler types like us, a bunch of fucking stands and marks. That'd be a really big deal for us.
Yeah. So with this Punk thing, man, which again he's gonna get a whole podcast. It's just I can't believe it's ending like this. I can because of his actions from last year, but it's like, what are you doing? How can you say you work with children, but you're the one acting like a child too?
Right. And it's funny because when he first came back, none of us could have ever predicted this is how it would end.
Yep. You're right.
But a couple months into his return, man, it just feels like now this is completely inevitable.
Yeah. No, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad because I remember when he won that title, I was like, all right. I'll never forget when he randomly lost it to Mock, got his ass squashed on that regular Dynamite. Then
he was injured,
but then he got it back like 2 weeks later. Because that's when
hot potato.
That's when whatchamacall came back. MJF came back, and then we never got to. Because I know Jacob knows. That's when the match I'm most mad at. That's who MJF was supposed to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
had a great storyline leading up to it too.
You talk about people just getting absolutely fucked over. All of CM Punk's major opponents who he was supposed to have, MJF and Ricky Starks, your biggest matches you were supposed to have. Both those guys got fucked over. I 100%. I mean, we'll have to see how AEW treats Ricky Starks. But I will not be shocked eventually if we see Ricky Starks in WWE at this point.
What do they do with the real championship?
I can pretend it never existed and move on.
So you're getting rid of Collision? I don't know if you can just get rid of. Well,
I'm not getting rid of Collision, but I'm pretending that I am pulling a Vince McMahon. This never existed. We never talk about this going forward, and just that's it. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. If you want to make another title, by all means, go ahead. I don't think you need to, because MJF can just go back and forth between your shows. But yeah, I'm pretending that motherfucker never existed. I'm pretending CM Punk never existed. I'm pretending nothing fucking existed with that going.
You know
forward.
what's crazy? And this would probably, I should say something for the CM Punk pot, but it's crazy that now in 2 wrestling shows, they're going to act like he doesn't exist.
I mean, I don't know how else I don't know how else I would do it. Like if I'm shooting from the hip, I have to make a decision right now. That's my decision. That's the easiest decision going forward. Fuck it. We are AEW. This is Collision. This is our other show. Punk never existed. Move on. Have a great day. That's it. Show me Collision that you're better than Dynamite.
Jacob,
if I can treat this like Raw and SmackDown, fuck it. Who's better?
Jacob, I actually think you're really right for the one standpoint of CM Punk got terminated that Saturday afternoon. So before Collision and before All Out, obviously we knew he was the real champion, whatever. Tony never changed one of the matches for that title. I was just thinking about that. If he wanted to, he got to have Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks for the real championship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother with it.
I think he's not now because he didn't do it. I think you're right.
And I get it, like, because I know it's gotten brought up here on the podcast before, but like when CM Punk like brought it out, like spray painted an X through the E on the title. Whether that was a jab or not, I mean, it is just the E is perfectly right in the fucking middle of the title. So of course it's going to connect, whether it's a jab or not, whatever. But yeah, fuck that shit. Fucking be done with it. Move on, boys. You have a clean slate. Fucking do it right.
And man, when they made Collision, we were talking Punk was going to be like heavily involved in the creative of that show. Like it was his show, and now he's
right. And now I wonder because they brought Ace Steel in for that show. And Ace Steel was only there because of CM Punk. So are we getting rid of Ace Steel too?
Good point. Good point.
I would imagine Ace Steel would just be like, hey, fuck it, I'm done. You know, if he's there, he's only there to collect a paycheck at this point, I would say.
Well, I mean, that's why Bryan Danielson came back, man. It happens every time with Punk. Last year, Moxley was supposed to go on vacay. But when Punk, that situation put the whole locker room in shambles. Exactly. Now Bryan Danielson had to come back because, like, Ricky Starks needed an opponent. And I know Dragon Steamboat, great, yada, yada. But you're 70, dude. You weren't going to be in that ring, hopefully, thank God. Because I was glad they pulled it. I didn't say which dragon. That was good. But
that was good. Ric Flair would have did it.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought that was just a fake clip. Like, I thought that was a fake announcement when I first seen fucking Ricky Steamboat. And I'm like, no. In a fucking strap match? No. This man is going to fucking die. Stop it. Stop it. We do not need this. I'm thinking, like, Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, we did bring in, like, fucking Dennis Rodman.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Back to Chicago to try and ease some fucking pain.
Yep. I agree. And it was also,
I wonder how much that fucking guy got paid for that fucking appearance.
That's a good point. It was also, too, like, last year we were literally talking about, like, after a couple months after the media scrum, locker room was divided, man. You were either for Punk, you were on Team EVP, or you were Team Punk. And everyone who went to Team Collision, was basically Team Punk.
Right. We talked about, me and Martin, we talked about this after the Bray podcast, after it went off air, and we're just shooting the shit. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask it now since we're recording. Does FTR start their podcast back up again, or what are the comments for fucking Cash fucking Wheeler going forward, or Cash or Dax, whichever one doesn't have the fucking current criminal charges against
Dax is clean. Cash Wheeler, Cash Wheeler has a criminal charge.
Baldy. All right, so what the fuck is Dax saying going forward, and do we fire up that old podcast? Because that was brought up just to bring Punk back.
Yeah, for people who don't realize, they had a whole podcast basically every week talking about why Punk should come back. They love Punk, yada, yada, yada. They're going to do it again. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him back this time, because last time was suspension. This time was firing. But I forget which one of them did, like, the CM Punk X walk-in last night. One of them did that, but Cash. Yeah, Cash. Oh, the one who's trying to go to jail. But
I'll stay out of jail.
But dude, I don't know, because they were his biggest supporters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. So
I don't know what they do. I know they're talking to him like, hey, man, are you good? Like, what do you mean? I just got fired because I got in a fight with Perry. And Perry's indefinitely suspended, so he's not fired, but he's suspended. So,
yeah.
Who would have ever thought that Jack Perry was the guy to bring down CM Punk?
For good, because we'll talk about it next episode. I don't know why all these people are smoking, think he's just going to walk into WWE and everything's going to be okay.
The funny thing is,
it ain't fucking happening.
Well, might. I saw a tweet yesterday where there's a clip of CM Punk talking about Jack Perry. Said, if you have a beef with Jack Perry, you're probably the problem, which is hilarious because he had beef with Jack Perry.
Wow. But we're going to have a whole pod because we're going to go through the whole.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be such a bitch fest. I can't fucking wait.
But besides that, man, because this is the wrestling story of the time right now, man. Like, this guy just, It's wild. It's wild. And then seeing I don't know if you've seen, Jacob, some of his fans are trying to say that he should sue AEW for wrongful termination.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. The fuck, go home, stay the fuck home. Jesus Christ, I don't even care at this point if fucking Tony Khan continues to pay him out his fucking contract at this point. Pay the guy, tell him to stay the fuck home until that contract expires. I want nothing to fucking do going forward with this. Just fucking end this dumb shit. Pretend it never existed. Vince McMahon, the fuck out of this, boys.
Byron, you have anything you want to add?
I did have a question. Who gets the first CM Punk interview?
Well, him and Colt Cabana.
That's what I'm looking for.
They hate each other now, so that's out.
That's true. That's out. I can't wait.
He's gonna respond
for CM Punk.
Responded.
I know. I can't wait for it.
I don't know if he'll actually do a fucking podcast or he'll do an interview. I don't think he will because the last time he did it, it went so fucking terribly for him. But if he does, it's gonna be fucking the FTR podcast.
That's a good.
But at the same time, I don't see him doing it anytime soon with FTR because FTR is in AEW.
Oh, true.
And unless they're just like, man, I don't give a fuck what the repercussions are. We're FTR. Like, okay, boys. Like,
funny too. 10 minutes ago, just real quick before we end here, on the Click podcast, Kevin Nash, who God knows, remember that awful feud in 2011, said CM Punk. He's like, I mean, in all seriousness, he thinks he needs some serious help. He needs some mental health. When it becomes destructive, when there's a chance it costs you millions of dollars, and you just continue to push and push and push, they have to let him go. I'll tell you right now, man, if I would have broke in and saw some motherfucker doing that shit, I would have said, oh, if he can get away with that shit, well, fuck, I can do it too. I just think Tony Khan needs to get somebody there to be the heater. I know we've talked about that. He needs to bring somebody in. Vince wouldn't put up with that shit. I know we've talked about that. This isn't disrespectful to Tony. To me, Punk is almost a bully at this point because he knows that Tony is not, and it's not in his DNA. Well, first time ever. I think I don't know. I don't know about mental health. I just think it's him being an asshole. I kind of agree with Kevin Nash, and he's the original Bland. He's the godfather of Bland.
You know, I'll go in on that. I'll 100%. I'll agree with Kevin Nash on that statement.
Yeah.
I got no problem saying that. And I'm sorry. I get it. There are people that will absolutely, stick to their guns no matter what. And maybe it's because I'm an average fucking dude who works in a fucking factory. But goddamn, if someone wants to start waving millions of dollars around my fucking face, I'll pretty much do whatever the fuck I need to fuck get that millions of fucking dollars. Mm-hmm. Maybe Punk is just, he's either that set, he's got more fuck you money than we could imagine, or he's just sticking to his guns that way and his way or no way. And I mean, if that's you, man, get on you, but you're fucking, in my opinion, you're dumb as shit. Hell yeah, man. I'd kiss my boss's ass if he wanted to give me a fucking few $1 million. Shit, yeah.
Byron, anything you want to say on that?
I mean, I agree with Kevin Nash. Tony Khan needs someone that will basically be a Vince. Someone's tough as nails. I'm not going to say doesn't give a shit, but get in line or get out.
I think he might actually have the person because it's funny how, just real quick, Samoa Joe pushed MJF because apparently back in NXT where MJF wasn't shit, pushed him. And he came out and people were like, why did Adam Cole help? They saw flashback. Remember when Samoa Joe was like the enforcer for William Regal? And if you did something, he would just fuck you up. I mean, that's what Samoa Joe's real life job needs to be in AEW. Because apparently he's the one who broke up the stuff backstage before it got any further. Because who the fuck's going to mess with Samoa Joe?
Not me.
Right.
But with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Also, real quick, congratulations to Jacob, man. 3 years of doing wrestling podcasts now.
Oh, fuck. Has it been 3 years?
Yep, 3 years last month.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Fucking yeah. No. You don't have to thank me. Fucking Martin, dude. You deserve a fucking hand of fucking applause here. You're on every fucking podcast.
Yeah, well,
so shout out Martin here. You're the real MV fucking P over here, bud.
I try my best.
The moderators.
I try. But thank you everyone for listening to our good, bad, and terribles of All In, All Out, Payback. Talk about some CM Punk. Next podcast will be the CM Punk podcast. That will be the next podcast that comes out. We're going to find out Jacob's schedule. We're going to get a date set for that. We might invite some other people. We might. Mitch Oso was a big Dragon Ball expert. He's a big CM Punk stan back in the day. Let's find out if he's a stan anymore. Let's figure it out. I want to hear. I mean, let's figure it out on this Punk one. Anyone who has an opinion on Punk may be invited to that. But with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Hell, CM Punk, if you find this somehow, because I know you have no job now, so if you find this and you want to come on here, let the L7C be the podcast for you. That being said, L7C podcast, signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.